Without further ado, let's welcome Albertt Wu.
Thank you, Karen, and it's really a pleasure to see so many friends and colleagues. We have a picture of me so you can remember who it is that is giving the talk. This is a picture of my father, Ray Wu. He was a professor at Cornell, and through all of my early career, I remember him saying repeatedly, avoid administration at all costs. And so I being a dutiful son, tried to follow that advice. And when I came to Hopkins, I was all about research. I didn't follow the advice that people often get, which is to pick something and focus on that thing, become an expert in that thing. I really, from the very beginning, pursued two lines of research, and one was patient outcomes. And I originally started out by studying patient outcomes as quality of life outcomes in people with HIV. And patient safety, there really was no such thing as patient safety research when I started. And I wound up doing some of the first research on that topic at Hopkins. I will say that over the years, these topics have tended to blend together, and I'm going to talk for just a little bit about some of the projects which I think were either most notable or which taught me things that perhaps will help contribute to my doing a better job as chair, should I be so fortunate. One of the very first studies I did was a study of quality of life in people with HIV. And as far as I can tell, this had never really been done before, certainly not in an HIV clinical trial. I was fortunate to be a very junior investigator on what was the very first clinical trial, a randomized double-blind clinical trial of AZT, then a new drug, in people with HIV, and when I was in San Diego. And we assessed quality of well-being scores, then one of the leading patient-reported outcome measures. And we found that over the first year of study, that people with HIV who took the drug had markedly better outcomes, markedly better health utility than people on placebo. The interesting thing was, though, that if you looked at the people, part of the reason for that was that the people on placebo, there had been 15 of them, at the end of 1 year, only 3 of them were still alive. In fact, the people on treatments, many of them had pretty mediocre, pretty low health status scores. They were still alive, however. And the few people who were still alive actually were doing reasonably well in terms of their health status. And that made me think that perhaps we should be measuring patient-reported outcomes more systematically in HIV clinical trials, which we're just about to start.